I'm Rachel, head of music, and today I'm joined with Joe and Mike from the Himalayas. Lads, how are you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. So,
Thanks, you right?
Amazing. So first, let's start off with the new single, V.O.V. Tell me about it. How's the response been so far?
yes, pretty great to be honest. I think the fact that Brian co-wrote on it, Brian Johnson co-wrote on it, I think is always helps.
Absolutely.
But I think it's just been a bit insane, really. Just from the moment we spoke, initially spoke with Brian to now, it's been a long period of time because we were doing album one when a manager of ours works with Brian and works with AC/DC, so that's how we know, or we got in contact with Brian, or he got in contact with us. So he sent him demos of that we were doing for the album, and then Brian said he really loved the song. So for him to say that, like, love the songs, like him to say that in the first place was kind of surreal. But the fact that he sent us lyrics and wanted to be involved in something with us was even more crazy. I think it's something we're super grateful of.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so since the start of that, I think it's been a fairly long process. We wrote the song like 3 times or something. So I think we wanted to get it right. And I think that from that process to now, like seeing how people's reactions to the song has been made it worthwhile.
It's been brilliant. It's been getting picked up quite consistently on radio and things like that. What's been really nice is we picked up quite a lot of new fans last year off the back of the album, and we did a few support tours where we were bringing in new fans from other bands as well. And the response that we've had from those people that have only just kind of got into us in the last year or so has been amazing, which is really nice. It's just nice to see, give something a little bit different to what we've done before, obviously building on what we've already made, but there are new elements in it that we haven't really explored before, and still having a really positive response from existing fans is that just really means a lot, and it kind of just makes you feel like you're doing the right things.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. You know you're onto a good track when you have Brian Johnson saying he's a fan. That's how you know you're doing well. But what was it like actually getting to write with him? Were you a bit starstruck? What was that process like? Was it scary presenting ideas to someone of his sort of status?
I think it was just a bit surreal, really. I don't think, like, that period of time, I think, is kind of a blur for me at the time. And I think because internally we're all quite critical of what we do, I think we had shown like demos and things like that to each other. I think the fact that we were all unanimously quite happy with what we had done, I think we weren't too nervous to send it to Brian, or we weren't too nervous to hear his reaction, but he was just super supportive. And I think the fact that he had been supportive of what we had done before meant that we were allowed to kind of do the things that we like and know that he would still be a fan. I think that was something, I think his response is something we're really grateful of.
Yeah, and we come off the back of doing the first album, so obviously there's always a lot, plenty more you can learn. But at that point, we'd sort of, really spent a fair amount of time working on the sound and what we were. So I think there was a level of confidence in what we were doing already that we were able to sort of bring into making V.O.V. then. But yeah, I think that's the other thing. It was just the process, the amount of time that everything kind of took, and the fact that it was a priority at certain points, but at other points we had to do other things that we weren't too wrapped up in it, I think. But by the time it was kind of all finished and we were ready to send it off, I think we were quite happy with what we come out with.
I still find it quite mystifying. I think that's probably why it's still probably
it's not sunk in fully. It's never really had a chance to. So we kind of got it out before there was any sort of.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be an old man when it does sink in. I think that
probably see you off like.
I think I'll probably in my 50s and be like, just be like, oh, this is that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll just hit one day and you'll be like, we really did that? That was real?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. What does the writing process normally then look like for you just on some of the regular tracks?
Me and Mike are the main writers of the band. So normally it comes from either a very small idea or we've written the whole song. I think normally that process, we bring it into the band or we share like a project that we've done at home. I think with album one, there were certain songs that we'd written a while ago, like a long time ago. So like Somebody Else in the Mirror on our debut album were the oldest songs. So they were like written back in 2017. So we had time to play them live and kind of change and and let them kind of progress. But the rest of the songs, a lot of them were written during COVID for the album anyway. So like, and again with the new music that we're doing, we're writing up like kind of on our own, and then bringing it to the band and changing and morphing ideas. So I think the process has been quite a nice one for us because we get to be heavily invested, and all of our influences, as they may vary, but like we have key bands that we like. So I think we all know the route we want to go down, and we kind of talk and discuss about albums that we love and feel like might influence the next things we do.
Yeah, there's always a lot of influences, but there's an element where everyone kind of knows what everyone's working towards. So we'll kind of try and write to that to a point. And then it's that kind of element of you bring it in, people change parts then and things go along, and everyone just kind of makes it their own. But there's not really one like completely set way of doing it. As Joe said, it might just be as simple as someone coming in with a riff in practice, and then we just spend a few hours fleshing that out. Or it could be somebody comes in with a whole song and, you know, one or two bits change, but it pretty much ends up being as it was. So we're not too rigid on that because I think we all trust the fact that we all know what we're trying to do in the first place. So it's just finding different ways of getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're heading on tour in June. What are you most looking forward to about being on tour?
Just playing again. Yeah, like, you know, we haven't done many gigs for a while, so it's something that we were really enjoying last year. I think we're just getting out there and playing, and as time goes on, you do more of it, you get more confident, you just kind of enjoy it in the moment a lot more. So it's just getting back and doing it. And also I think seeing the reception to, we haven't done a huge amount of headline stuff last year, so we'll be doing our own shows, seeing, you know, what songs from the album people really like. Obviously seeing the reception to V.O.V live. We've not played that live yet, so I think that feels like it's going to be a good live song. So there's lots to be excited about anyway, but I think it's literally just doing the gigs.
I think for us the live element, we've always been a live band. Like even before the albums, we had the live show before we had the songs that we would release. And I think we used to play songs when we first started as a band that weren't great, but we tried to build a live show. And like, you know, like I think those kind of things really matter to us. Like someone coming to see us live and being good live or being interesting and people are feeling like they got their money's worth is something that we're really interested in continuing to do. And I think the live show for us now has upped even further, and we're trying to up it again and again and again. So I think the June dates in particular, when we do headline shows, I'm really excited for people to come and see and like their reaction to how the show is going to be.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think there'll be a lot of mosh pits going on to V.O.V. But have you any sort of pre-show routines? Is there like a certain song you like to listen to before going on stage? Do you have any sort of ritual that you follow?
We have a playlist on our Spotify of like songs that we like to listen to. Like so, like we put it up on our Spotify, so people can go and listen to that. Like that's more often than not like what we're listening to. But in terms of like, I don't love being near people. Like when we warm up or like when we think, I don't love like interacting as a band that much. Like we feel isolated because we're together on stage, I think. So for me, like I like to be like quite isolated for a minute to really get to the place that I need to be.
And we really like not having to talk to him. So
exactly, it's always nice. That's lovely. Yeah. So like the least amount of time that we can spend together is always wonderful.
Exactly.
Love it. You're supporting Foo Fighters as well in Cardiff this summer. How excited are you to be playing your local stadium?
Yeah,
that's huge. Yeah, I mean, like that in itself is a huge box tick. Even before you bring Foo Fighters into it, just the fact that we're playing in the stadium where, you know, we've gone to see people, we've gone to see rugby. It's like we've grown up with it being sort of the massive thing in the city centre. So just to play it is like kind of means so much. It's almost sort of intangible how much I think that's going to mean to us all.
Yeah, I think as well, like growing up in Wales, like and rugby being such a huge sport, I think is like like everyone thinks like sports like such a huge deal. Obviously here, it's like knowing that you play in the stadium, it kind of it means something to a lot of other people. The fact that it warrants the fact that we decided to do music as opposed to sport. I think.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have gone very well.
No, we wouldn't have ended up in the stadium. None of us are very athletic. So.
Yeah.
Fair enough, fair enough. All these exciting shows coming up for you. Have we any chance of persuading you over to Belfast or Dublin for a gig, maybe?
Definitely. I think
Right, yeah.
my grandparents are originally are from Ireland, so I think any excuse I have to go over there and see them or see family is as well as playing a show there. We've only played Dublin once.
And we went through Belfast because we came in through Scotland. So the last tour we didn't actually play there, but we got to spend some time there. And
yeah, which is lovely.
it was the first time I'd ever been to Ireland or Northern Ireland, and it was amazing. So I can't wait to go back. And he was towards the end of the tour as well, so we didn't actually get a huge amount of time there. So it'd be nice to come over and have a couple of days if possible.
Yeah, well, we'd absolutely love to have you over and get you into the studio for a chat then, maybe too. But what advice would you give out to any bands that are looking to start in the industry?
I think for me, the biggest one anyway is doing it because you love it, as opposed to doing it because you want success. I think that's something that when I first started, anyway, I can't speak on behalf of the boys, but I've been very for periods of time, very just focused on success or milestones, reaching milestones. And I think sometimes it took away my enjoyment of the memory of it. And I think that is something that I've tried to do less and less and less as the band's gone on, to try and remember to still do this because I enjoy it. I think that's as a key thing, because I look back on times that I should have enjoyed moments more. And I think that's a huge thing. Doing it because you love doing it and because you're enjoying that is huge.
Yeah, it's just remembering to be in the moment, and when the opportunities come up, it's recognizing that they're there and just really kind of making the most of them for yourself as much as anything else. You know, just being on a stage playing an instrument is a privilege in itself. It doesn't matter where you're doing that. So it's just a case of enjoying it as much as possible. And then, yeah, when those sort of big opportunities come up, you've just got to make the most of them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely brilliant advice. Now, finally, this is a very important question and one we love to ask here at Queen's Radio, and that is, who is your music guilty pleasure?
I don't have any guilty pleasures. I enjoy all of them. I reckon I'm going to put Sheryl Crow in there as my answer, but I don't feel guilty about listening to Sheryl Crow in the slightest. Boy,
I have too many. I have a lot.
Life's too short to feel guilty about stuff like that.
No, yeah. There's some that I don't feel guilty about, but you wouldn't necessarily expect. Noughties pop is Robbie Williams and stuff like that. They're not necessarily guilty pleasures, but then do you remember Lamar?
Yeah.
Lamar is a guilty pleasure of mine. Our manager's just in shock about me saying Lamar, I think. I guess some things like that, yeah, you wouldn't expect, but I like music in general, so I think there are some things like that that I suppose are a surprise. Mike loves the Cheeky Girls.
Yes.
So,
But again, no guilt.
Yeah, no guilt. But Lamar, yeah. I'm going to mention Lamar loads more times, so our manager gets really embarrassed. Lamar.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time today, and good luck for the tour, and I'm sure there's lots more exciting things coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.